Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Glitch Super Mario World. This time, we're doing Yoshi's Island 4, I guess. Or at least for now. So I'm gonna go up here and get this one up that I have no idea how they expected you to find that without some kind of guide or something. Like, there's not even scrolling in this level, and, like, I don't know, it just seems pretty crazy secret for just a one-up, but... Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Let's see, I want the one-up... Or I want the P-switch, rather. Okay, that's bad. So see how the P-switch, when I drop it in front of Yoshi here, it appears to be behind him? Like, the P-switch graphic is behind Yoshi's graphic? That's bad, I don't want that. So, I'm gonna go over here and get some other stuff to spawn. And then I'm gonna go back and spawn the P-switch again. And hopefully, it'll spawn correctly this time. There we go. So now it appears to be in front of Yoshi, which is good because that means it's in the correct sprite slot for this next trick to work. So I'm gonna, let's see, what I'm gonna try to do is grab the P-switch and mount Yoshi at the exact same time, which is easier said than done, obviously, but it can be done. Okay. Oh my god, it's hard though. Oh my god. Okay. No. You can do it. Alright. I'm gonna get a little further this way. Just tap that. There we go. Okay. Nope, that's probably too much. Yeah. Man, this trick. Come on. Boom. There we go. Perfect. So, I'm actually carrying the P-switch while I'm riding Yoshi. Theoretically, you could carry like one thing in Yoshi's mouth and another thing in Mario's hands to be able to carry like two things at once or whatever. Although it's definitely not worth it because it's really hard to do. But you know, kind of cool. But I showed before how you can't carry an item through a pipe in Yoshi's mouth. Otherwise, he'll just like swallow it in between areas or something. It'll reset Yoshi in the next room. But if you carry it in Mario's hands, you actually get to keep it. So you can bring both Yoshi and the P-switch into the next room without losing either of them. I'm actually gonna eat one notch of that guy. Okay, now I'm gonna try to do something with the Pokey here. Ooh, that's bad. Okay. You can actually damage a Pokey with a P-switch, which is what I'm trying to show, but it's not working for me. Oh my god. So this isn't going as well as I had hoped. Basically, you can damage a Pokey with, I think, any carryable item, although I might be wrong about that, I'm not entirely sure. It makes sense to be able to hurt a Pokey with a shell, but doing it with a P-switch is sort of counterintuitive, and it seems to only be possible with Pokeys, which is very strange. For whatever reason, you can damage a Pokey with a P-switch. You just kind of get up close to it and kick it, and if you're lucky, which I'm not. Okay, screw that. I'm just gonna rewind. Oh my god. Rewind. Oh. Okay. I have no idea why this isn't working. It seems to be random. Like, I really don't understand why this trick works sometimes and doesn't others. There we go. So yeah, I could theoretically kill this guy with just a P-switch. Wow, I damaged him and he damaged me at the same time. Whatever, let's get through this level and forget that. That's just a kind of cool trick you can do, but it's not not relevant to anything too much. Oh my god, I want this mushroom though. So let's try to get a good one-up chain with the Starman if I can. Let's see. I was going to try to double hit the block, but that failed. Oh god. Okay, let's see if I can get something cool here. It's probably not going to last long enough for me to get anything good. Oh jeez. Yeah, that was close. Okay, that could have been better. Whatever. So anyway, that was Yoshi's Island 4. Not a whole lot of glitch-related stuff in that level. There's not a lot of resources to work with. I feel like that's probably the reason I didn't do a whole lot of glitchiness there. But I'm actually gonna go back to do some other stuff before I enter Iggy's castle, because we're actually not going to fight Iggy yet. And we're not going to fight him for a while. I'm going to go back. Actually, I want a fire flower, so I'm going to actually grab one real quick. But I'm going to go back to Yoshi's Island 2 and grab the Yoshi and do some other stuff there real quick. So let's go back to Yoshi's Island 2. Grab a Yoshi. Yeah, there we go. Alright. I like doing that. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the green shell. I'll just try that. Grab the green shell, and I'm gonna try to do something here. Let's get this Chuck over here, just so he's out of the way. And then I want to set this down right about here or so. Didn't work. Alright, it might seem kind of random what I'm like trying to do here, but there is a purpose. Okay, whoa, not what I meant to do. Oh god. There we go. So I ate the message box. Let's rewind and watch that on the frame that it actually happened. Okay, so here, on this frame, actually one frame before, a couple frames before. So on this frame, the coin is on Yoshi's tongue, right? On this frame, I collect the coin. So there's no longer a coin on Yoshi's tongue. But the game thinks that the coin is still supposed to be there, and the game thinks that Yoshi's tongue is still, like, occupied, I guess. And when the coin despawns, and the message box is about to spawn when it comes on screen, so the message box is like, oh hey, the coin just despawned, so I can take its sprite slot, right? So the message box decides to spawn in the coin sprite slot. And when it does that, it warps onto Yoshi's tongue, because the game thinks that it's supposed to be there. So the message box actually goes onto Yoshi's tongue, and Yoshi swallows it. And it gives me a coin. So, it gives me a coin because every sprite that Yoshi swallows will give him a coin, except for power-ups and chucks. Power-ups, it makes sense because, you know, if you swallow a power-up, you're not going to get a coin, you're going to get the power-up. Like, if you swallow a mushroom, you're going to grow, but you're not going to get a coin. If you swallow a 1-up, you're going to get a 1-up, but you don't get a coin. But every other sprite in the game, you do get a coin, including sprites that you normally can't swallow, like message boxes. With one exception, and that's chucks. And so you'll notice that the message box won't come back because the game considers it to be dead, so it's like permanently gone since I swallowed it, which is pretty silly. And yeah, message boxes are sprites, which is kind of unusual as well. Compared to other item boxes like the question boxes and things, which aren't sprites, the message box actually is. Anyway, I'm going to start select and go get the green shell again. And I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of with a message box, I'm going to do it with a chuck. And interestingly, the chuck does not give you a coin. Even though most sprites do when you do that glitch, and when you, even when you don't do a glitch, when you swallow most sprites you get a coin. Well, not for... Hold on, I need this to spawn correctly. There we go. Not for chucks, so hold on. Chucks sort of give you power-up effects like power-ups do. And what I'm going to try to do, actually I'm going to go to the other side of the chuck because I think this will be easier. So we're going to drop it right about here, I think. And then... Okay. Technically I swallowed the chuck, but I did it wrong. Okay. Wow. Let's rewind that. I think I want to stand right about here. There we go. So I swallowed the chuck, and you'll notice that I have an item in my item box now. Let's just go ahead and see what's in my item box. It's a Koopa. So by swallowing the chuck, you kind of get some like power-up effects, depending on what power-up status Mario currently is at, and depending on which type of chuck you swallowed. So in this case, I just swallowed a regular charging chuck while I was Fire Mario, and that caused this side effect of putting a green Koopa inside my item box. It's also worth noting that this green Koopa is invincible and vulnerable to fireballs. That's just because it came from my item box. In all other aspects, it's regular. In all other aspects, it's a regular Koopa. The reason the fireballs don't work is because it spawned in a Sprite slot that is normally reserved for your reserved power-ups, and that Sprite slot also causes another side effect where the Sprite can't turn into a coin. So whether I try to fry it or use a silver P-switch on it, it won't turn into a coin at all. But other than that, it's a normal little Koopa. I want my Yoshi back, there we go. So that was pretty silly. Let's go ahead and go to a different level now. Yeah, I think if you're small Mario and you swallow a chuck, the game crashes, if I'm not mistaken, so you gotta be careful. You do want to be Fire Mario when you do it. But also, depending on which chuck you use, you get different effects. And if you've seen a speedrun, in any percent speedrun of Super Mario World in the last year and a half or so, something like that, I don't know, you might know what I'm gonna do. Basically, you can, there's a clapping chuck at the end of this level, so he's slightly different than a regular charging chuck, and the game has, the game does distinguish the regular charging chuck from the clapping chuck. They have different properties, and when you swallow a clapping chuck, you actually get different effects than when you swallow a charging chuck. And depending on which power-up status you're at, you get different effects as well. In this case, I'm Fire Mario, which is what I want to be for this to work properly. I think if you're Small Mario, it might also crash the game. I don't really remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I'm gonna swallow the clapping chuck at the end of this level, and what that's gonna do, well, you'll see. All right, so we're just gonna use one of these enemies here as our coin. I'm also gonna get rid of this Rex, and then I think I want to stand here and screen scroll, and then wait for this. Okay. Boom. Okay, so I ate that clapping chuck, right? Now look at my item box. I got some exciting new item. I wonder what it is. Well, let's go ahead and beat this level, and we'll check to see what it is in a different level. Okay. I think the sound just glitched out for a second there. That was odd. Anyway, speaking of sound, I don't know if I mentioned this, but hopefully I fixed the game audio from the last video. In the last video, for some reason, it was really quiet, and so I think I fixed it. Hopefully it's not too loud or anything now. So sorry about that, but anyway, yeah. There is some interesting stuff you can do in the bonus game, by the way, but I'll get to that later. Anyway. So we're not going to do the Yellow Switch Palace right now, because I'm sure you're anxiously awaiting what is going to come out of my item box when I release it. Actually, you probably already know, because it's become a pretty famous glitch. Anyway, we're going to go to Iggy's castle, and we're not going to fight Iggy, because I don't like Iggy. Maybe I'll come back to him. So, I'm going to drop this thing from my item box, right? And it's a shiny bony beetle. Well, actually what it is it's the goal sphere that you find at the end of Sunken Ghost Ship, that normally, when you touch it, it completes the level, right? It looks like a bony beetle in this level, but that's just because this is a castle, so it uses the castle tile set for the graphics. So since the goal orb is never supposed to be in this level normally, it just uses a different graphic setting for it. So it looks like a bony beetle, but it's actually just a goal orb. And when you touch it, it finishes the level. And since I'm climbing on the net, the animation is a little glitchy, but I don't fall into the lava pit, which is cool. And this actually saves time in a speedrun rather than completing the level normally, because there's the huge auto-scrolling section which takes forever, then you have to fight Iggy and watch the cutscene at the end. So it saves a good, I don't know, 22 seconds or something like that. It's pretty cool. So everybody calls that the orb glitch, although technically the glitch itself, the fact that swallowing chucks gives you side effects like that, it's you know, you can get other things besides an orb. and you can crash your game as well. So, just some cool stuff you can do. So that was World 1, my way of doing it anyway. We could come back to Yellow Switch Palace maybe later. I don't really know when I'll do it, but we'll see. So that was I think that went pretty well. Thanks for watching. Bye.